Okay, hi Tony. Thanks for your time. Really glad to have this chance to catch up with you and also to hear your thoughts, as you share, how this couple of years has been, right? Especially going through some hard times, with COVID, and also hearing the good results of your business turning around. And I think last year you doubled the revenue, right? So I want to start off by asking you, how was the company like before this coaching? Because I remember in 2017 when we first met, you came for the masterclass. And you brought your team, right? And I think you tried some of these scaling up things that you learn on your own. And then last year, not last year, it's like almost 2 years already, right? That you came and then you discussed with me about the coaching, right? And shared a little bit about the background of the company. So maybe you could share with us before coaching, what was the situation like in your business?
Okay, thank you, Jeremy. So my company, we were in the outdoor furniture business. We are in the manufacturing sector of the business. And in the past, the, the main product of our company was the wood outdoor market umbrella. This item has been experiencing probably the later part of its overall product life cycle. So sales has been declining, and we see that our customers have been replacing our product with alternative products. It has been happening for the past several years. And we tried by ourselves to look for different opportunities to get the company back into a growth path, but it wasn't very successful. So in the past few years, we have been struggling with company's revenue and also profitability. Yeah.
All right, thanks for sharing a little bit about the past, right? So last year I think your company did really well, right? I think it was really like a good turnaround, right, where you kind of like doubled the revenue, especially in the COVID year. So maybe you could share with us how did this scaling up coaching, that you started implementing and having me to work with your team, how has it helped the company in this turnaround?
Well, I'll probably retract a little bit back to 2017. I took my team to your master class in Shenzhen, right?
Yeah.
So back then we thought like, yeah, it sounds like a good program. I bring my team, we learn together. We probably can figure something out. So we went just for 1 weekend, 2 days.
Yeah.
We just learned. We didn't get a lot of chance to practice or discuss, and of course we didn't get like constant monitoring from our constant coaching, from you.
Right.
So we went back, we did it by ourselves. What turns out to be very, very difficult.
Yes.
we there's a lot of things we couldn't figure out, like just even the basic management tool, which is the dashboard.
Right.
There's a lot of things we didn't understand enough. Yeah.
Right.
So we tried for about 6 months or so, and then this thing just disappeared into thin air. Like a lot of other practices that we try to initiate in the company. Yeah. Yeah. So after that, it was last year that I reinitiated this discussion with you, to engage you to be the coach for our company. It's an ongoing 6 months program, and after that, I extended to an 18 months program, right?
Yeah.
So the real difference between these two, like one is just to bring the team to go for a class and go back and try to implement by ourselves, versus engaging your coaching service. The real difference is, a lot of time I feel it's just too hard. It's very difficult to initiate a change from the inside without any external help. Right. Because the whole organization has got the old habit.
Right.
And without any external help, it's very hard to change that old habit. We have a momentum in the old habit.
Yeah.
So that is one thing. So and of course we didn't understand enough about the whole system and all the tools. And So apart from the old habit
Mm.
momentum, apart from not understanding enough, we don't know enough.
Right.
And there's also this thing is like, within our own internal organization, we only know what we know
Right.
and we don't know what we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And so engaging external coach, bring us this perspective from the outside, which is very
Right.
valuable for our team.
Right.
Yeah, then we know what other people in the world are doing,
Right.
how are the better companies doing, what's their
Right.
best practices, and learn from their experiences.
Mm.
Yeah, so I say that's the main difference. So after we engage your coaching service, we it took us a lot of time and effort, but now we finally get it, like how the whole scaling up system works, how the
Right.
tool works, how to use it properly.
Right.
It's a challenging journey.
Right.
Well, and it's still going on.
Yes.
Okay. I won't say that the whole team has understood the whole thing,
Right.
completely. It's an ongoing process, but we were a lot better than
Mm.
compared to 2017 when we just go for a 2-day class.
For
Yeah.
sure, for sure.
Yeah.
And I really think that, your leadership actually made a difference, right? Because I remember some of the conversations that we had, about confronting some of these things that you brought up, right? The old habits, right? Old way of doing things. And also, when we first started the coaching, we felt that, the team were all very used to working in silos, right? And I think you push through this coaching program. So I think it's really also a testimony to your leadership. To turn the company around, right, in a very difficult year, and double the revenue. So I'm really glad to hear that, right? So yeah, no, so I'm really glad to hear also that you brought up about habits, because I think so often we underestimate the old habits, right? And what we don't know what we don't know, and the need for the open-mindedness, right, to receive help, right, and to change. Right. So maybe my last question to you would be, what advice can you give to businesses who are struggling, right? I mean, there are a lot of businesses struggling with COVID, and I'm sure even without COVID, there are companies who will want to turn around. They find that they are declining, right? So based on what you have learned so far, maybe you could share 1 or 2 tips to encourage or to inspire other business owners.
Well, just from this turnaround experience of my own, I feel that it's definitely a lot better to engage external help if
Wow.
if I can afford it, if
Right.
we can afford it.
Yes.
Because as the top leader of a company,
Mm.
that external help not only works for the team, but actually it works a lot for myself.
Right.
A lot of times it's really hard to push through changes in the organization, especially when it's linked with old habits and old momentum. And just based on my own personal energy, the energy level, sometimes it's not enough.
Right.
So even as a top leader, we will still feel tired. We will still feel defeated. And at that point of time, and a good external coach, it really helps a lot, I feel.
Right. Thank you.
So that's number one. Number two is it's always logically strategic thoughts and all the tools to help us analyze SWOTs and stuff. Those are logically very simple. It's easy.
Right.
Okay. And even like the scaling up system, it's not logically difficult to understand.
Right.
Yeah. But there's 2 huge hurdles in front, even after we understand it. Number one is, how can we get the whole team to synchronize and focus, and do the same thing?
Yes.
That's one big hurdle.
Right.
And then the second big hurdle is, even if we can get the team in sync and focus and do the same thing, how can we keep the momentum and repeat doing that same thing periodically to form a system that runs?
Yes.
Yeah.
A system that sustains itself, right?
Yeah. So I feel that it's these 2 big things that's very very difficult for any organization to handle by themselves.
Right.
I feel. Yeah.
Right.
So that's a second very big plus to engage a good external coach in that. We use the momentum of someone outside to help
Right.
us build a new momentum inside.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And a lot of times
Mm-hmm.
when we manage a company and organization, it's a little bit like parents talking to their kids.
Right.
The kids just, no matter if it makes sense or not, the kids just don't like to listen to
Right.
their dad or their mom.
Very interesting analogy.
But they will listen to some uncle from outside, or
Right.
someone from outside that when they tell them the same thing, they'll feel like, oh yeah, actually this makes sense. But
Right.
when my dad tell me the same thing, I'll feel like, yeah, I know already. I know enough. Stop talking. That kind of thing.
Right.
So engaging external help, I feel it helps my organization in this a lot.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for this advice. I think you brought up two very key things. One is you need an outside catalyst, right, to spark off that change. And then also the sustaining and the synchronizing everybody in this effort also requires that coach to kind of like get everybody on board, right? Otherwise, all that old relationships, old habits, old momentum just kind of gets in the way, right?
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
wow, thank you. I think this is very interesting because I think a lot of people are also asking themselves this question, right? How do I spark that change? Especially going forward after COVID, I think, more and more businesses will be asking this question. So I think, thank you for this timely advice. And especially, I think with the results last year of turning the business around, doubling the revenue in a very, very difficult year where the whole world is struggling, I think just adds a lot of weight, right, to what you have just shared. So thank you very much, Tony. And I think
You're
time's up.
welcome.
Really thank you for your time, and let's catch up again.
You're welcome, Jeremy.
Thank you.
Thank you, and let's catch up soon.
Yeah, bye-bye.